Hello YouTube, this is Mahadev the Thunder Wizard, and today I'm going to be sharing with you how extraterrestrials are actively destroying the elite's ability to control your mind because they, the ETs, are working behind the scenes to reveal to you the fluidity of reality. 3D reality is not fixed. When you understand that, then the 3D fixed reality machine that is trying to control and destroy your life is going to lose all of their power. We're going to talk about that in a second. All right, this is, as I said, Mahadev the Thunder Wizard. This channel is here to help you go past the third dimension into the fifth dimension. That is going to be more and more my focus on what I am here to do and what this channel is about. So we'll see how well my streaming goes. I don't know how good the internet is here. I'm in a new place, at least for the next few months. But let's go ahead and see if we can get started. Let me know if you can see and hear me all right. I'm most interested if you can hear me. The picture may do whatever it's going to do, but I just want to make sure you can hear me. So let me know in the comments. All right. So in fact, I was just talking about this a little bit earlier today. But one of the things that the 3D elite want to be able to control you is to keep you fixed on the idea that three-dimensional reality is fixed, number one, and that you will be forced to follow their rules. So, as you know, you can't trust science anymore. You can't trust medicine anymore. You can't trust, certainly you can't trust government. You can't trust the educational system. You can't trust mainstream media. They've all been completely taken over. And this has been going on for a very long time. Thank you. You said you can hear me. I'm glad. So I don't know what the picture looks like, but at least you can hear me. Starting in around 2,000 years ago, the leaders of, at that time, the known world, the leaders of the known world were the Romans. And the Romans were definitely planning on taking over as much of the world as they possibly could. And they were having problems with the Jews because the Jews had a very strong identity and they had a very strong connection to, as it turns out, the very first takeover of a country using religion to wipe out the memory of your ancestors. I don't think this has ever happened before. But as you know, in my book, if you go here to audiobooks.thunderwizard.com, you'll see my book, Odin Says Jesus Was a Coward. And in that book, I show you exactly what happened and why not only the Jewish people, but the rest of the world started following monotheism. Before monotheism, there was no such thing as fixed reality. And to give you an understanding of that, let's just take a look at traditional religion versus monotheist religion. By monotheist religion, I mean Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, what people call the big three. And the difference between these two is that those three religions are the only religions in history, before Judaism, which was the first one. Before these monotheist religions were never, ever meant to be taken literally. Never. And starting with the Torah, the supposed history of the Jews' escape from Egypt. By the way, that never happened. That can be proved historically and archaeologically. A bunch of different things disprove it, but the biggest one is that, according to the Old Testament, the Jews wandered the desert, a really small area, by the way, a really small area. They wandered the desert for 40 years. And apparently there was, if you go by, how many the Bible says there would have been millions. There would have been millions of men, women, and children wandering the desert for 40 years. And it's just simply, number one, that number of people wandering the desert, first and foremost, is impossible. But secondly, there would be some archaeological remnants, and there aren't. There are no remnants left, ever. So that means it was completely impossible. The other thing is that the Old Testament is based on how the Jews go in and conquer and wipe out the Canaanites. And we have a problem here. The Jews are the Canaanites. They are the direct descendants of the Canaanites. The Hebrew language is, in fact, Canaanite language. Period. End of story. So you have polytheist people, and right up until archaeologically, you can see in the homes that are dug up right before the Jewish elite are taken into captivity into Babylon, the priestly class and the elite ruling class together. They were both taken off in chains to Babylon for 70 years. Right before that, you can dig up a home anywhere in Judea, and you will find in that home there will be an altar to many gods. The sky father, earth mother, all those deities, all the ones that are listed in the Old Testament as being evil and wrong. Those are the traditional gods of the Hebrew Jewish people. So the whole Bible is about destroying their entire understanding of reality. Because at that time, people's reality was completely based on their spiritual understanding, their philosophy, their medicine, their healing, their mindset, their understanding of the cosmos. Everything was based on that. And so you have these ruling elites who refuse to pay taxes to the Babylonians. I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to pay taxes to a foreign government either. But they didn't want to pay taxes to the Babylonians, and they thought as long as they kept the flame lit to Jehovah in their temple in Jerusalem, that Jehovah would protect them. At that time, Jehovah was just the God of Israel. He wasn't the only God. So these guys come back 70 years later, and they have this brand new religion that they've created while they were there. They made up this lie about the Jewish people being saved from captivity in Egypt, which never happened. And they made up this false history of Moses and Joshua going in and wiping out the Canaanites, who were their ancestors. So it's incredibly self-destructive. And the whole point of that was these ruling elite wanted to be able to control their people. They wanted politics to become the religion. And so that's what happened. You end up having politics and God becoming the same thing. The God of Israel became the one true God. And we could get into all of, the beginning of Genesis is let us go down, which means that they're taking from the old Canaanite tradition to taking what they can and then building on it and creating this brand new history and this brand new religion. History and religion go together because religion is the first way that tyrants control your mind. So the religion we have now, as you know, has to do with following all of the mandates and following the narrative of the mandates that were given over the past 3 years now. That's the new religion. 2,000 years ago, the new religion was understanding this God and combining it with politics. And it was a politics of separation, politics of everything and everybody else that is different from us is bad and wrong, and we must separate ourselves from that. So as a result of that, go another almost 500 years later, and you've got the Roman Empire, and they're trying very hard to conquer this territory of Judea, Palestine, and they're having a very hard time because of the fear of anything different, the fear of outsiders that these Jewish people have. So they're extremely difficult to conquer. So the Jewish elite, however, at that time, really wanted to be part of the elite of the Roman Empire, because the Roman Empire was ruling the world, and they wanted to be part of that. In fact, one of the Roman emperors way back then, at the beginning of Christianity, I forget his name, maybe the Flavian, I can't remember, but he was actually in love with a Jewish princess, elite princess, and so these elite Jewish people got together with the Romans and they concocted a new religion, and it was a religion designed to pacify the Jewish people so that Romans could finally rule Palestine in peace. And the Jewish elite there had another idea. They wanted to be part of the Roman Empire. And what ended up happening is that they ended up kind of ruling from behind. So the Jewish elite ended up gaining a lot of power by helping to create the Christian religion. And so, the creation of Jesus and the supposed manifestation of the manifestation of the prophetic, the Old Testament prophetic predictions for who the Messiah is, all of that was concocted behind the scenes, and they created a religion that they tried to put onto the Jews, and it didn't work. But it ended up working so well that everybody else started flocking to it, because it really talked to the mindset of people who felt that they were being oppressed and they were looking for a savior. And anyway, long story short is that has evolved. That never ended. The Roman Empire never ended. It simply has evolved into this one world government. And so these people have had their finger on the pulse of everything. They've had their finger on the pulse of science. They've had their finger on the pulse of anything having to do with spirituality. So as we know now, there's even movies made about it. If somebody has some kind of spiritual power, the CIA gets involved. And they try and find how they can weaponize somebody's spiritual power. And that is a real thing. So as a result, these people have access to the highest spiritual technologies that can be weaponized. And they have been creating, behind our backs, they have been creating a secret, there's always been a secret military. There's always been a secret priesthood. There's always been a secret everything you can imagine. And I could get into it, briefly. I'll talk about it for a second. I've already talked about it many times before. But starting 100 years ago, because these people have a pulse on what the most advanced spirituality humans are capable of is, they became aware that higher dimensional beings have the ability to disconnect people from the limitations of the third dimension. And so what they began to do is they started to create a false extraterrestrial presence. So the majority of the UFOs that you see, unless you've personally experienced them, and you know what I'm talking about when you're connecting to something that's not in the third dimension, those are all three-dimensional false creations of this elite that's trying to control your mind. And they actually do a very good job of doing it. So the one thing that must be done is that you must drop your connection to the belief in the third dimension. You must drop your assumption that reality is what it seems, because it's not. Reality is not fixed. And I'm here to tell you that the actual extraterrestrials, which do not abduct people, they do not harm people because they're not part of the third dimension. They don't team up with human military. They've been with us forever. What we consider to be extraterrestrials are higher dimensional beings that were working together with our souls to create this world we call Earth. Before humans ever incarnated, we were extraterrestrial, not the Anunnaki, none of that nonsense. We were higher dimensional spiritual beings that came and created this world called Earth so that we could come into the third dimension and experience it. We came here to have fun. I'm here on this planet for one reason, and I did it today. For the first time since, I've been back in Australia for a month, and I've been completely discombobulated and out of sorts, and the weather and the waves have not been cooperating, and I finally got to go and experience what I came here to do. And I remember I got out of the water and I said, this is the only reason I'm alive. There's no other reason I'm here. Your soul only came here to experience joy, on whatever level that is for you. And if you want to allow that joy to elevate you beyond the third dimension, you must drop all of your connections to the belief of the third dimension. One of the things that the real extraterrestrials have been using to break open your consciousness has been what people refer to as the Mandela Effect. And if you do any research on the Mandela Effect, you're going to find stuff that's not the Mandela Effect that people think is. There's going to be, no, this song had a different word here, and you'll find out, no, it actually was always that way. I've run into a few of those myself, but the two biggest ones, is the Black Tom event. That, I can guarantee you that didn't happen. I've been alive long enough to know that never happened. And yet, our history, our physical history, if you go and dig in the Black Tom Peninsula, you will find proof of the Black Tom event. And I'm here to tell you it never happened. I know for a fact it didn't happen. The second one, there's a bunch of others, but there's three. The second one is Kennedy's assassination. Kennedy, there's just, there's enough residual evidence to prove it, but Kennedy was driving in a 4-seat car. It was him and his wife and two Secret Service agents. That's it. Those are the only people. No, it was a Secret Service agent and one other guy. I think the mayor of that town or something like that, or the governor of that state of Texas. I can't remember which. But it was him and his wife, a Secret Service agent that was driving, and another guy that was sitting in the front seat who was, somebody else. But now Kennedy was in a 6-seat weird ass created jalopy thing with, a window pane. It didn't exist. And the biggest one is our planet has moved 73,000 miles from the outer edge of the galaxy on the Sagittarius arm and has moved all the way to the other side of the galaxy, halfway in on the Orion arm. And those things, when I saw that, those were the hardest things for me to accept, because it meant the way that I dealt with reality, I could not bank on, because I am a history guy. I am, I like to believe that, even though I'm not a scientist, I like science. I like things that you can look at, that prove things. You can put things in a box so that things will make sense, so that you have a reference point. And with the, especially the last one, the Earth moving 73,000 light years, sometime after 2012, there is no reality anymore. And this is a message. I'm here to tell you that the Mandela Effect is a message from our higher dimensional light being friends. You can call them your spirit guides. You can call them angels. You can call them higher self. You can call them elves. You can call them fairies. You can call them whatever you want. But these are the beings that have been with us before we were human. These are our family. These are beings that have power beyond anything anybody in 3D can even begin to imagine, which is one of the reasons why the 3D elite will never defeat. That's not good. There, okay, now it's back. Sorry, the internet here is really spotty. I'll see if I can do something about it. I may not. I may have to go a month without doing live streams because the internet here is so bad. I'm going to end up in another house in a month, and unless I get kicked out, I'd probably be able to live there permanently because it's a really great house, and the internet will be a lot better. In any case, for now, I just want to give you permission to completely and totally let go of your attachment to anything in the third dimension. That includes your belief in money. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I still use money because that's what we do right now. But I want you to give yourself permission to let go of the idea that money controls you, that money is limited. Because, let's think about it. Take any business. Walk into a grocery store, and in your 3D mind, you walk in there and you go, "This is a business. None of these foods would be here. None of these vegetables. None of these snacks. None of this milk. None of this meat. None of these things would be here if it weren't for the fact that this supermarket company bought all of these things from other people." And so when you break it down, what does it come down to? You've got people who have farms, and these people either grow crops or they have livestock that they slaughter, and that can't be done by money. Even if we were only using actual cash, like if we had a cash society like we used to have, even if that were the case, you could take the biggest pile of money there is and tell that money, go create a cow, slaughter it, and make leather out of it and make some porterhouse steaks. Tell a pile of money to go and plant crops and then harvest those crops and process it so that it can be sent off. every single thing you see everywhere. I mean, in your house, the glass, the walls, the construction, the refrigerator, the microwave, whatever's in your house was made by people who put the time and the energy to make it. The metal in the microwave, the metal in the refrigerator. Well, there was somebody that went out and mined for those metals and then processed it so it could be put in sheets so that people could chop it up and use it. Money creates nothing. And now it's digitized. I mean, now when I go and pay for things, I just take my ATM card and I literally tap it on something. Beep. And it, and then something happens in the air, and, digits from one computer program that says I have X amount of money transfers non-existent digits to the one in the bank. But the truth of the matter is that the food that I'm buying, if I'm, I like to buy the street food here, is somebody sat there and they cooked it. A human put energy into creating it. Money, literally, everything that you see around you could exist if money didn't exist. Money is the excuse for people to put energy into creating things. That's it. Imagine if we lived in a society where people said, let's get rid of this money thing. Let's just provide services for each other. I build houses. I make food. I've got cows. I've got a farm. Why don't we just do things for each other? We don't even have to barter. Because if you think about it, when you go to a business, you're not bartering with anybody. You're giving them nothing. You're giving them literally nothing. And they give you stuff in exchange for that pretend thing, which we call money. And I'm harping on it because if you can pull yourself out of that, if you can pull yourself out of that empire mindset, because it's all created by an empire mindset, without somebody standing on top saying, listen, I'm running the show. I'm going to control who does what. And we're going to have this social credit system. And I'm going to determine who has more social power and credit and options than other people. And to do that, I'm going to do it by giving you these things, these symbols. And if you have more of these symbols than the other person, then you end up having more power, and I'm going to control that. That's all that money is. It's all it's ever been. So anyway, that's really my point, is I want to help you. I want to give you permission to let go of that. The truth of the matter is that the only thing that exists is energy. This is, even if you talk to physicists, they'll tell you this. The only thing that exists is energy. Nothing else exists. You are a manifestation of energy that manifests in the 3D, with certain, atoms and molecules and et cetera, et cetera. But when you break it all down, there's no physical matter. When you try and find the smallest piece of actual physicality, you end up with energy. There's more space between all of the atoms in my hands than there is actual atoms. And yet I can't push my hands through each other. It is an illusion. And when you tap into energy, and energy becomes your entire existence, then money is simply a mental manifestation of energy. And money will be provided to you in order for you to manifest your true reality. And at the same time, if you follow your truth, your soul, if you follow that, As for the time being now, the universe will provide you with the energy to survive, which will probably mean money. But I'm saying that you go after it in a way that makes you happy. I don't care if you have a job or you work for yourself or you create. I don't care what it is that you do. As long as you're doing what gives you happiness. When you do that, you will be taking away control of those literally sociopathic, insane, mentally ill people who are running this whole thing. Because that's what we're talking about. The world is run by a bunch of sociopaths. They're mentally ill. Here's what I mean by mentally ill. I don't mean mentally ill in the sense of that they have emotional problems. I've got emotional problems. Mentally ill means they're psychotic. Psychosis versus neurosis. Psychosis is when you don't know the difference between your psychotic fantasies and reality. And in fact, the definition of a narcissist is somebody who seeks to take his or her psychotic fantasies and replace that with reality. Turn reality into your fantasy. That's what a narcissist is. A codependent is somebody who allows themselves to be part of that fantasy in an attempt to gain love or acceptance or approval. And so we live in this narcissistic society that uses this completely made up thing called money to control you. And you believe it because you want to be loved, and you want to be accepted, and you want to have relevance. The more money you have, the more relevance you have. So you're willing to throw your life away, working jobs you can't stand. You're willing to be told that your joy, your dreams, your hobbies, your passions are at best, they're beneath the relevant thing, which is to be part of this money system, which is the empire. So I'm telling you to take back your love for yourself. Take back your individuality. Be willing to go through the death of losing the acceptance of the world in order to have your love, the love of your own soul, in order to have the most important thing in the world. To me, the most important thing in the world is what I experienced today. I got up late for me. I got up now. I got up around 7:30 and I took a little time to wake up and I drove down to the beach. And for me, that means driving about 5 or 10 minutes down the road, and it is empty forest, rainforest. And I walk about a half a mile through the rainforest onto this empty beach with perfect conditions, perfect waves, blue-green water. There was 2 guys out surfing, 2. And as far as I could see in any direction, I only saw 2 guys. So there were 3 of us out there for a little while, surfing these perfect waves. And then I get to walk in and walk back through the forest. That to me is why I'm alive. That's it. It's the only reason I'm here. And I will die before I give that up. I will do anything that I have to do to make that happen. And I will only do those things that give me joy. I only do those things that I would do anyway. Again, I got nothing against people taking short-term jobs to, if you've got a goal, I was talking with somebody who needed a computer for his business that he loves doing, and he took a short-term job so he could make the money to go create that. You've got a clear path on where to go. Do whatever the hell it takes. Steal, don't steal. I'm using that metaphorically. But do whatever the hell it takes to be your true self. Now, if you're like me, it's probable that you may have some challenges doing that on your own. And if you're like me, it's probable that you might have a hard time believing that we live in a completely non-real universe, that our physical three-dimensional reality is not real. It is only a manifestation of a probability that you brought into reality with your higher dimensional mind. So bear in mind, your higher dimensional mind will create all kinds of negative things for you if what you want is to be loved and accepted by the system. And you're programmed to want that from birth. So if you want that, that's understandable. But if you want to do something different, like me, you're probably going to need some help. I take all the help I can get. On a daily basis, I am doing at least something out of the exercises that I teach here in the 90-day challenge. And on a daily basis, I am meditating, I'm doing interdimensional meditation, and I'm communicating with these higher dimensional beings who continue to reveal to me more and more, as much as I'm able to handle it, more and more of what reality is. And reality is nothing that you've been told. You can have everything that you want, but you must be willing to die to your third dimensional self to achieve it. And I don't know anybody that can do that without help. So, this channel isn't about me talking. This channel is about me giving you the tools so that you can accomplish everything I've just talked about. Go here to thunderwizard.com, scroll around until you see Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong, and subscribe. The energy practices there, I have spent a lifetime creating, researching, and I have synthesized an energy system you will not find anywhere in the world. It combines Qi, Kundalini, and the lightning power of the heart mind, which almost nobody knows about. And these are the most powerful exercises I've ever seen, I've ever experienced, and I'm giving them to you for this reason. I also recommend that you get my books. Go to audiobooks.thunderwizard.com. Interdimensional Revolution is one of them. Another one is Extraterrestrials Are Coming to Earth. You can also read any of my other books. They will also help you to break out of the mindset that the elites are trying to control you with. And I'm here to tell you there's only one thing that you have to change in order to be able to escape the third dimension, and that is you must change everything. And you change yourself. In fact, you have to change yourself. So bear in mind, you're a probability. So the human being that you might be, who has manifested, who believes that they don't have enough money, or who believes that they need that job that they don't like in order to survive, or who needs to be accepted by the narrative. The people who believe that is a probability that your higher self has allowed you to manifest. In order to have fifth dimensional energy, you have to literally change your entire self. You have to become a different person. So that means you have to walk away from everything you think you know about who you are, everything you think you know about the world, everything you think you know about everything else. And it's an incredibly frightening thing to do. So the only way to make that work is to have an even stronger desire for what's outside of it. I can't do that by myself. If you can, my hair is off to you. I can't do that by myself. I need energy work, and I need the higher dimensional beings. I also need, my teachers that I still go to this day to work with and train with. So I offer this to you. So whatever it is, do it. Do something. And it's very important to understand, in my experience, you also can't do this alone. you have to do it with other people. You have to have people to do this with, and more than likely you will need to have a teacher that can help you. I couldn't do it alone. I still can't do it alone. So I feel pretty confident if I can't do it alone, you might not be able to do it alone either. In any case, all this stuff is here for you. Check out the links. They're all here for you. And this channel is about hopefully inspiring you to take the action. By the way that you change yourself is you change your actions. The only way that your psyche changes, and the only way that the neurons of your brain change, and the only way that the cells and the nerves of your body change is if you change your actions. So change doesn't come by thinking, it comes by taking certain actions. I've provided you with the best program I know how to do that, which is the Warrior 90-Day Challenge. You'll get access to that. You'll get access to the interdimensional meditation course. You'll get access to the mastery of manifestation. What do I call it? Manifestation mastery course, where you learn how to tell the universe what resources and energies to give you. And then you'll have access to the Mastery of Shamanism course. All that stuff is here. The Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong at thunderwizard.com. All right. I'm happy to take questions for at least the next few minutes. I'm trying to get all this out because I'm going to go to a masseuse because I need it. I got some sore muscles here. Zerlath Immortal, honest feeling. I'm excited for tomorrow. I've waited a year for the right snow day to climb this mountain as my personal initiation as a warrior. Good for you. Good luck. I hope you have a good time. I just got a big jolt, so apparently it's going to be very powerful for you. Flag Runner, honest feeling. I'm going to sign up for the 90-day tomorrow, and I feel excited for a new challenge. Good for you. I'm happy to hear that. What is that? Audio Queen? Thanking me for what I'm doing. I appreciate that. It's not a question or a feeling, but it's a nice thing to say. So I don't see any other questions or feelings, so I guess we're done, which is fine. I'm very tired and very happy. And that's it. So seeing how bad the streaming is, I can't guarantee that I'll stream for the next month. I mean, I probably will try at least once or more, but if it continues to be this bad, and I'll go back and watch it and see how bad it looks after it's been archived. If it turns out to be okay, I'll keep doing it. But if I can't do live streams, I'll just upload videos. I'll just make videos and upload them. Well, we've got a question here. Afroman 316 question: does Maushan spirit fighters look like they have on cloth capes and straw hats for gardening? I've had a vision doing summoning the immortals. I don't know. You tell me. I mean, I worked with 3D humans, so they looked like 3D humans. They wore T-shirts and sneakers. So if you're seeing guys with cloth capes and straw hats for gardening, you might be tapping into some old ancestors. And at least one of my students who trained in the spirit fighting experienced that. It means, Afroman, if you're right and you've tapped into some Maushan spirit fighters, if you're not doing the Maushan spirit fighting, I don't know if you are, then the question is, why haven't you gone and bought those forms, which you can get at maushan.thunderwizard.com. There's still, I've gotten rid of, where is it? I've gotten rid of the, is this it? Nope. I've gotten rid of this, the Solar Flash package. You can still go there, but I raised the price back up a little bit. And but what I didn't do is I didn't change the price on the Maushan special. So you can go here to solarflash.thunderwizard.com, and that'll give you a link. You can go to maushan.thunderwizard.com, Maushan, And if you've been seeing spirit fighters in your vision, they might be calling you to learn the spirit fighting arts. So that's between you and them, though. Flag Runner question. Will you please talk about the microcosmic orbit and how we can empower it? Flag Runner, are you subscribed to the 90-day challenge? I mean, if you're asking me a question about Qigong and the microcosmic orbit, and you're asking me how we can empower it, have you not heard me say that I have created the most powerful energy system in the history of the human race, which includes Qigong? The microcosmic orbit is a great practice. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. But what if you could have something more powerful than that? What if you could have something that created the microcosmic orbit without you having to mentally, you're asking me to I've built an airplane and you want me to talk about a tricycle. I say move past that. So that's what this is there for. Anyway, so go there and start doing that, and then you won't have to worry about it. Lushka, question, what exactly is wodanic consciousness? When did I ever use that word? When have I ever used that phrase, Lushka? You know the drill by now. Don't ask me questions about things I don't teach. I've never heard that phrase in my life. So whatever it is, I don't know if it's good or bad. I don't know if it's the real thing or some neo-Nazi racist is, appropriating Woden for something. I don't know what it is. Ask me what I teach and I can help you. I can't tell you about something I don't know anything about. All right, no more questions? Okay, that's good because I got to go. Thanks, guys. Wish me the best. Keep me in your meditations. Specifically, my main thing that I don't have physical control over, maybe I have it in the meditative space, is finding a way to stay here permanently. They don't want people over the age of 45 here, the government. So it's hard to get visas and play that game. And I don't want to play chess with this thing. I want to stay. This is it. This is my home. This is where I belong. I don't want to leave. So give me your energy. Meditate on that, and I will, of course, send all of you, whether I know you or not. I will send you positive energy. Lushka says the energy of Woden awakening. Have I ever said that either? Lushka, it's like you're not even listening to me. I've never said any of these. I've never used these words. Why are you asking me about stuff I've never talked about? You realize that's not only distracting, but you do realize it's disrespectful. It's like walking into somebody's house and going, wow, this is a really nice house, but have you seen that guy's house over there? That's a really nice house. What do you think of that guy's house? I'm inviting you in my house. Ask me about what's inside my house, not what's in somebody else's house. You should know better than that. It's just basic manners. I know that you're trying to figure stuff out, and that's okay. So I understand your question, but I can't tell you about stuff I don't know. All right. On that note, I'm out of here. And again, everybody, if you are serious about completely changing yourself, I think I have the best technology out there. Of course, you have to take it, you have to use it, and then you have to take that energy and decide what you want to do with it. And every single person who has worked with me and followed all of my suggestions disciplinedly and repeatedly, consistently, that's the word I was looking for. Everybody who has followed all of my suggestions consistently, every single one of them, their lives have transformed and gotten better. Not one person. So if you want what I have, you got to do what I do. All of this stuff I've got here. Go get it. That's right. Audio Queen, don't talk me out of that wasn't good communication. I know where my home is, and I do happen to be on Earth, but anyway, I appreciate but anyway, If you had said that earlier, we would be launched into a talk about codependence and trying to fix people. Don't try and fix people. It doesn't help them. I appreciate the positive thought, though. All right, that's it for me, guys. I wish you all the best. I will see you all next time. If I've done or said anything that has been hurtful or offensive, as always, please know that that's just me doing my best. My deepest desire is to do everything in my power. I swear to God, I spend every spare moment I have thinking about it. Everything I have inside of me to do anything I can to help everybody transform and be their happiest self. So understand that's where I'm coming from no matter what I do or say, even if I make mistakes. That's it. I wish you guys all the best. I'll see you all next time.